Hi guys, welcome to the channel, Practical Reefer. My name is Mark. Now, just a quick update on the tank. We've been a bit shy on videos lately. I have actually just bought a puppy in the last week, so I've been quite busy with that. So I was going to show you the puppy, but she's having a sleep just now. I'm going to leave her. So pretty busy with that, pretty busy in general, but I'm off this week and I have been filming a lot of stuff, but it's not ready to boot on the channel. So I know a lot of people do like a weekly, like religious weekly video, which is where I kind of roughly aim to want to be, but I'm not going to put up videos if they're not ready. So coming up, a couple of videos, you'll see them there. I have one male molly, so I'll be doing a video on adding those. I've got a bit more work to do on that. I'm going to try a different method, hopefully with a much better success rate, using the little tank here, so we'll come back to that. So that's another video which should be coming up in the next week or so. The other video, you'll just see that the ATO is nearly empty there. Using that ATO, I've actually been dosing Alpha Reef to increase my alkalinity and help with coral growth, and keep the parameters sort of more stable, and potentially maybe not do as many water changes in the future, because a lot of my nutrients are very low anyway, so it might be a good middle ground of, you know, reducing water changes, not eliminating them. I don't think that would ever be the case with this tank, but it might help me build up those nutrients that I'm missing, but also maintaining the trace elements that I would miss if I didn't do the water changes. So that'll be coming up in the next week. I'm pretty much ready with that one. I've been dosing the Alpha Reef for sort of 2 or 3 weeks now, and I've been taking readings of the alkalinity, so that'll be my main. Just the ATO just sucked a bit of water in there. And the other one, I've got some corals just today, and I'm going to be dipping those in Dettol as an alternative. Quite a lot of people do it. I see a lot of mention of it on the forums and things, so I'm going to try it with a few cheaper Zoas that I've got today. So they've been temperature acclimated, and I'm just going to film this a little bit and then I'll try that now, and that'll go up in the next few days. So lots of videos coming, but there's a lot of stuff that there's no point pushing out a video if it's not ready to go out. So that's where I am, and you know, maybe a bit more planning from me and maybe a bit more regular, but then sometimes about 2 videos a week, sometimes it's 1, sometimes it's none, so it's just what suits me. So that's the thought in the videos. So my tank today is probably at the worst it'll be at the end of the week, so I'm due a water change sort of tomorrow, maybe the next day. The cyano is pretty much gone now. The way I've got rid of that is with just keeping up on the water changes once a week, vacuuming the sand, which takes out a lot of the detritus and the cyano, blasting the rockwork with a turkey baster, and just keeping on top of things like that. So just kept on top of maintenance, and the cyano's pretty much gone. There's a little bit at the front here, and a little bit that side, but most of it has gone. So I'm not really worried about that. It's something as the tank gets more stable over the coming months, then we'll not have the issue, and building up with those nutrients which I'm sitting quite low on, so which is why I'm adding the, you know, things like the molly and things like that there. So that's fine. The rock work looks mostly pretty good, and a realization, I was going to attribute it slightly to vibrant, which may be the case, because this is 5-6 days since I've scraped the glass. Doesn't really need scraped. Might give it a scrape and it might look slightly better than what it does just now, but you know, the glass isn't fogging up with a film of algae. Now what I'm realising today, I was going to say, vibrant might have played a bit of part of it. I dosed it for a week or 2, and then I was having the cyano issue, so I pulled back on it. But I've done a couple of big water changes since then, so vibrant should have, anything in the water column's gone, although the bacteria that vibrant, you know, has in it might still be in the system. But what I'm actually noticing, this piece of rock work has a little bit of algae on it. Now the main structure at the back is actually looking pretty good. It's pretty white. You know, there's a film on it. There's a biofilm. There's little bits of algae, but it's actually really good. Same with the big flat piece at the front there. Now that's further to the back of the aquarium. Now where I have more of an issue, and I'll zoom in just a second, is this arch at the front. Now this is only an inch or 2 away from the glass. That might go in future. There might be a little bit tiny rescape. Now that one has a pretty consistent sort of almost astroturf kind of algae on it. You know, it's little short strands, like a very fine grass. This piece here has the same, and also at the top there. Now what this sort of piece of rock all has in common is it's the rock work all closest to the window across the room. Now it's, well, what, 8-9 feet away. Not going to be an issue in winter, but maybe just in summer, just the brightness. I mean, in winter obviously the sun's going to be lower actually, so it might be, but there'll be less intensity. But that seems to be, it's the bit, there's the rock work that's getting light from above and possibly some diffused light from the window, which is quite a far way away. There's no direct sunlight hitting these bits of rock work at the moment, or any of the tank, but there is obviously the brightness of diffused lights coming in. So I think that's what's going on there, which is fueling that a little bit, and the nutrients and things and bits that's going on. So vibrant might help slightly, but I definitely think this sort of this half of the rock work is closer to the window, which is probably where that's coming from. I'll turn the camera around, we'll look at some of the zoas and some other things going on in the tank, and I'll show you the algae that I'm on about that's at that side, and we'll come back in a second. So guys, here we are. I do realise I'm terrible for not using filters when I'm filming. Something I'll need to start doing more. So this is the main rockwork that I'm on about. Now this is all pretty decent. You know, there's some film on there and bits and pieces, but there is no algae on there at all. Again, not so bad. A little bit here, however, there is a light on the tank over, so that's maybe help, you know, adding a bit of fuel to that fire. And at the front here, there's a few little clumps of sort of a green film. Now this rock's only an inch or two off the front glass. Same again here. This is my AstroTurf essentially, so it's not outrageous. It needs a scrub, but this is right at the front of the tank. And the same here. Now this is the corner that would absolutely be nearest the window. So you've got that there now, and I've got this clump here which needs taken off. Now there is one of my Brittle Stars. So this is the rock that the Brittle Stars came on. I'll come back to that. And again, this is the overhang that I've got that sticks out. Excuse the glare. So this then comes over. So there's a fair bit on there. And again at the top. So that's right at the top of the tank. So that's the highest point. So that's maybe getting some extra light as well. Clove polyps doing fine there. Firework cloves are coming back from the one I had left. Now, what I will say, and on the life in the tank, it's decided to go with there is a Brittle Star that lives in here somewhere. He's a bit of a beast. There's one at the back there as well, which you can't see at the moment. So they originally had these two, or there was a few Brittle Stars on this one. What I'm noticing, there is one that lives just under this piece of macroalgae. When I do feed them, the arms come out. And now I've also got on my rock here, you can't quite see it. There was a couple sitting in this piece of rock. So what I will say, I'll get some footage of it later on. I'll maybe pop up in a separate video. But there are the Brittle Stars are spreading. These ones have gone away already. Oh no, there's an arm there. So they are spreading around the tank, and they're a great little cleanup crew, so I'm really happy with that. And there is also there's some pineapple sponges underneath this piece of rock here, but I'm not going to put my hands in the tank to move it, just to show you those, because I'm trying not to disturb things. I don't know if I'll see any about. So yeah, pretty happy with that. There's lots of the cleanup crew. Still tempted by the old Brittle Stars. Now the macroalgae here, it got when I had my bit of cyano, this got covered in the sort of green film algae, and was a bit of a riot. Now actually it's coming back quite nicely. I've not looked at it the last couple of days, just been busy with the puppy, just feeding the fish and leaving them to it. This was just almost sticks, so I cut them back. I cut off the bits with all the algae over them, and things like that, and I've just glued back in one piece back down at the rock. The other ones were okay, they were just trimmed right down, and they're absolutely they're coming back now, so that'll look great in a few weeks again. It grows pretty quick, and these ones just kind of dither along. They don't grow hugely. That one needed a good brush with a toothbrush just to get any algae off it. What I might do is take a bit of like a stiff, maybe a plastic like wire brush, as opposed to like a stainless steel or a brass one, because that has potential issues. Although a brand new stainless steel one, if used once, might not be a bad idea, just to scrape off what's there and then sort of have a bit of a reset. But we'll have a look at that. But you know, this is the tank now. This is it just before it's due a water change, so nothing's completely out of whack. You know, you've got that bit of sort of cyano at the bottom on the algae there. So that's coming away, and you know, I'm vacuuming the sand every week. I am tempted to get a goby, but I do quite like to vacuum the sand and get rid of all the muck and detritus that builds up in the bottom of the tank. And the sand doesn't look too bad, to be fair. It's not browning over all the time, but it's just, again, this is the bit at the front of the tank which is also getting that bit of diffuse sunlight from the window over by and the light from above. So that's maybe part of why I get that at the front, because there's no issues with it at the back at all. You can see right at the back of the tank there, which gets vacuumed on occasion, and this bit here which gets neglected because of the frag rack above. You can see where I've got how far I've got with the Tunsey. I need to take this out at some point and give this end a good bit of service. But you see, you know, the algae's not bad at the back there. It's at the front, so it's to do with the volume of light, I think, as well. So we'll come back to that. So guys, just a rough scan over my zoas. I've got their sonic flares on the right, which was 4 polyps I received. There's a nice big 5th one, and the bam bams was 3 polyps that I received, which is at the top middle there. Same with the rainbow rhino, which was 2 polyps. There's a 3rd one growing away there. And let me just swing round. The gobstoppers, and I was actually brushing a little bit of algae off one. I think I've done a bit of damage to it, so we'll see if that comes back. The pink asterina was 4 polyps, so there was the 2 bigger ones, the 2 sort of medium, so they've grown a bit, and then a 5th and a 6th polyp has come through there as well. So that's the green with the pink middle. My mail order, they call it sherbet mix, but I don't know if that's just a made up name. The back of that one is growing quite well. It's coming down the back. I'll show you that in a second. Hawaiian sunsets from Joe, they're doing away. There was loads of them to start with, so I've kind of lost count. I need to look at photos maybe. The BBB again, that was 2 or 3 polyps, so that's got an extra couple as well. The Rasta's cousin, that was sold to me as like 4, but then there was a couple of little baby ones, which I wasn't charged for, which was great. But you know, that one's spreading around the plug now as well. The Gatorade, it's closed up at the moment. It was open this morning. That has, let me just zoom in on that one. So that came with 1 polyp. Now there's another one clearly grown underneath it, and I think there's 2 very tiny ones starting to form as well. So that Gatorade's done really, really well. The LA Lakers is what I bought. Fruit Loops again is just as I came. Now I bought the Mind Tricks, was as 1 polyp. I was charged as 1 polyp by a chap, Ryan Tully, on Facebook. It came with pretty much a little baby already starting, so that was great. Candy Apple Red's a new one as well. So yeah, most of them are all, I think the Speckled Fire and Ice has a little one there as well, which is coming through. Some of them are slower than others. I mean, obviously the Sonic Flare's a Pally. Candy Apple Red, I would say, is a Pally as well. So what I might do is group the Pallies together somewhere, and I'm going to try and get a rough idea what grows quickest, because I don't want to end up with, you know, say something that's quite slow growing, maybe the Rainbow Rhinos, next to something like the Pink Asterinas, and or if they have a totally different growth speed, I don't want to be growing things next to each other that are going to smother each other. And I've kind of been patient with putting this on the rock work. I plan to take a little frag of each possibly and put it in a frag tank, and then I have a backup if anything gets smothered by another Zoa or another type. And I've got the radioactive dragon eyes that came from a friend Jonathan. They're quite well, some people maybe say they're quite basic Zoa, but they're absolutely stunning. One of my favourites, excuse the bit of algae and the mushrooms there, it's kind of coming over again. I've got another bit of GSP, just put my hand there, which is a different type from what's on the rock. I just got that for $5 and I just fancied it. More of the radioactive dragon eyes and a couple other nice ones from Jonathan. One of them, just, I think the fish has maybe knocked that one. It's quite a nice orange one there. There's a couple there, I'm not really sure what the names are. That's some Rastas there, which I've closed up at the moment. I'll film from the front a bit better. So yeah, they're looking quite good. That one there, again, that's closed up a little bit. I've actually got coralline algae, it would seem, growing on my frag rack. So coralline's on the go. It's coming off the plugs. And this is the mail order one. It was my first ever Zoa. So that's definitely grown over the back of that. It was a flat sort of face or a little chunk of rock. So that one's doing great. So pretty happy with the Zoas. I've got some more Zoas today. I don't know quite what they are. It's a bit of a lucky bag. So I'll get them acclimated just now, sorry. And we'll see what they're like. But Yeah, that's the zoas. They're all growing away, and it's quite nice actually there to see coralline. I haven't actually noticed that until just now, so that's really good to see as well in the tank. So there's plenty, obviously the alkalinity hopefully from the old alpha reef and the auto top up's doing its job. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Just a short update. I've been lacking the last couple of weeks, been very busy, so thank you to all my new subscribers. I'm sort of over just over 80 now, I think it's 81, 82. And thanks for all your comments and likes, and it's nice to get some comments and some feedback on the videos as well. So as you can see there, you know, the zoas are doing great. I'm dosing the alpha reef, so I'll give you some results on that in the next week. I should be able to do that pretty shortly actually. I've pretty much got enough, you know, I want a bit of data to back up what I'm saying. I'm not just going to say here's me mixing it up and now I'm dosing it and it's great. It'd be nice to see how it, you know, improves my alkalinity and things. So also on the mollies, you know, I've acclimated one there, which I'll go into more detail in another video, but I'm going to acclimate them another way, which is much slower, a longer term way to acclimate them, and I think it'd probably be a better way to do it. And I've seen people do it all different ways. Some people literally just drop the mollies in, so that's something. But for me, I think, you know, if you're going to acclimate a clownfish from saltwater to saltwater, I would definitely be acclimating a molly from freshwater to saltwater. I don't think dropping them in for me is not the way to do it. Although some people seem to have great success with it, so it's hard to argue. I'm still learning. So that's great, and you know, the zoas are all doing great there, and I've got the mini Brittle Stars, which is something I really love. I love looking at the tank and just finding a tiny little crevice in the rock and seeing, you know, the Brittle Star hanging out trying to catch food and things, and copepods and, you know, amphipods and little bits of life. That's what really, something that really excites me, which is maybe why I will stick to more of a nano in future, where it's, I like to get up against the glass and be looking for the tiny little bits of life. That's what makes it quite interesting for me, and the corals and the fish obviously, but sometimes in a, you know, a 6-foot tank, things like that get lost. You're just, you know, you look at the fish and the corals and you forget about all the little things going on that you know, make the world tick almost, you know, all the sort of biological activity in the ocean and stuff, and all that microorganisms, or, you know, very small organisms that we can see. I think it's fantastic. That's what really drives me and makes me enjoy the tank, is seeing that, you know, these little things, you know, doing the, you know, going about their lives, and so pretty happy with that. But you know, tank's where it is as it is. Might give some of this rock a little scrape with the toothbrush, or maybe something a bit more aggressive, just to remove that. But I think, as I say, it's where the sunlight's coming from that end of the room, or the bright light. It's not direct sunlight, but that's the thing. But I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Thanks very much for watching, and again, thank you to all my subscribers, and I'll catch you all next time.